Hi, today we're going to present the portfolio problems for the stage number 2. Starting with the first problem that it says, in the horse's black color N is a dominant over the white N. The trot T walk is dominant over the fine F walk. What is a mistake in the Punnett square? Well, the problem that I detected is that there is a recessive allele in the dominant alleles that are in the square, in the male part, causing errors with the fourth possible combination NN, having mistakes in the results of the heterozeros.
Well, the second problem is giving us the same information as the previous one. And then we can see that Punnett square that represents all the possible offsprings of crossing each color and type of walking of horses. And taking a look at the results, they say that the results will be 9 black horses with trot, 3 black horses with fine walk, 3 white horses with trot, and 1 white horse with fine walk. And taking a look at the table, we can see the mistake here. And the answer to what is a mistake in the Punnett square would be the offspring of the heterozygous cross, being it of 2 black horses with fine walk, would also be a black-white horse. A black horse with fine walk, not a black horse with trot walk, as the table says.
The problem 3 talks about the gene albinism, and uppercase A means normal melanin production, lowercase a means albino, abnormal melanin production, and in the following crosses, 2 parents have a particular genotype for the gene albinism where the letter A represents the allele normal and the letter A represents the allele, as I said, and we figured out the phenotype that, for example, in the first one, in the first Punnett square, the phenotype was, the ratio was 4 and 0, and it was a 100% normal melanin production. And in the second one, we have that the phenotype is 0 to 4, and this was 100% albino. And for example, the genotype was 4 times the trait AA in lowercase. And in the third exercise, we have that the phenotype is 420, and it was a 100% normal melanin production. And the genotype was a uppercase A and lowercase a, meaning that this was a heterozygous, and it was 4 times. And we have more exercises. In the first one, we have that the phenotype is 222, and it was 50% normal melanin production, and the other 50% was albino. And in the next exercise, we have that the phenotype was 222, and 50% was normal melanin production, and 50% was albino. And then the genotype was heterozygous 2, and homozygous recessive 2, and the ratio was 2 to 2. And finally, in this exercise, we have that the phenotype is 3 to 1, and it had a percentage of 75% of normal melanin production and 25% of albino, and this is the genotype.
Okay, this is problem 4. This problem was about a zucchini where there was a white fruit color with capital W and another of yellow fruit color was recessive and lowercase w. Here we can see how I did the cross, and its genotype was 122142121 radio. And lastly, its phenotype was 9331 radio.
Well, problem 5 used the same variables as problem 4, and it says that an homozygous plant, yellow and spherical fruit, was crossed with an heterozygous plant with a white and disc fruit. And here we can see the relation with the lower cases WWDD and then the upper cases WD and the lower cases WD. The variables are the color and the form. Yellow would be an lowercase w, spherical a lowercase d, white an uppercase w, and this an uppercase d. Then I placed the cross, the Hibrid cross of the first part here with the first letter and the third letter here, and the second letter and the first letter with the fourth letter here, then the second letter with the third letter, and the second letter with the fourth letter here. And then I passed to the second part of this hybrid cross, which was also the first letter with the third one, the first letter with the fourth one, and the second letter with the third, and the second letter with the fourth, like here is shown. The results were 4 types of different plants, as you can see here in the phenotype was, for example, upper WWDD was 0, and then this type of genotype that was upper W, lower W, upper D, and lower D was 4, and this type was 4, as you can see here, and this other type was 4 also, and the last type where all the letters were lowercase was also 4, and the other combinations were 0. The phenotype, as I told you, were 4 white and disc, 4 white and spherical, 4 yellow and disc, and 4 yellow and spherical.
Finally, the problem 6. The first question is that what is the probability that the hamster offspring would have straight fur, and is 50%. And the second question is the owner of the female hamster wants offspring with curly fur. What genotype will a male hamster need to have in order to produce only offspring with curly fur? Is DD in lowercase. And the principle of dominance are some alleles are dominant and the other are recessives.
I think that would be all. Thank you for your attention.